A community vision is a comprehensive plan, envision local worker housing.
The city has property. We could actually build our own workforce housing. It's past time that we build our own workforce housing.
I couldn't agree more.
Envisioning. The comprehensive plan, comprehensive plan, envisioning things,
planning.
Justin O'Connell.
Mayor and council, we have a crisis. Affordable housing. It was uttered in these hollowed chambers that affordable housing is a myth.
Affordable housing is a talking point for politicians. You can't afford a house if you can't afford it. There's no such thing as affordable housing. There is market rate housing, there's high-end housing, there's government subsidized housing. That's it. If we brought in jobs here, then there would be affordable housing. But we have an urban renewal agency that could bring in jobs, but instead we plant high-end housing for people to come here and buy the high-end housing. Affordable housing sounds really good, and maybe it'll get me reelected, but it's a myth.
We have to do damage control. Tell them that affordable housing is a right. Thomas Sowell says, quote, in 1901, housing costs took 23% of the average American's income. And by 2023, it took 33% of an even larger income. Those are excellent returns. The planners are doing great. In California, the proportion of income required for housing has increased even more steeply in a shorter amount of time. Which reminds me, could we please stop using California, Oregon, and DC as examples of cities to emulate in our public meetings? You're making me look bad. But what makes me look good is the city gives Habitat for Humanity the right of first refusal, restricting the supply for everyone else. Great work. Houston doesn't have zones. 10% cheaper housing than the national average. Don't look into it. We're working on that. What if the more nice single-family houses you build, the more nice old single-family houses there are for those with less money? Who cares? Look, a lot of this is out of your hands. 1/3 of the United States is forested. Privately owned forests supply 91% of the wood harvested in the U.S. Federal forests supply a mere 2%. Therefore, in order to save the environment, the townspeople have to live in affordable housing. It takes less lumber. Sorry. Admittedly, there are still some things we need to explain away for the comp plan, 2042 to 2062. Like when 19th century writer Frederick Bastiat points out the unseen consequences of government regulation. Or when Thomas Sowell says, quote, the biggest economic fallacy about housing is that affordable housing requires government intervention. Or when Connor Doherty, Wall Street Journal journalist, writes in his book, Golden Gates, Fighting for Housing in America, quote, markets aren't perfect, but they are mostly better than feudalism. I disagree. In the meantime, I have a list of demands for council: cheap groceries, affordable groceries, we'll call them. No more grocery permits for grocers unless they use our prices. We can have the planning department figure those out. Also, maybe hotel stays at the waterfront hotel. I think everyone deserves to stay there once. And also Rolls Royces. I like them personally. That's all for today's consultation. I hope I've precluded the need for any new blue ribbon committees. Thank you.